Hey everyone, today I'll be looking at the old second generation Apple TV. And one thing I'm curious about is whether or not it's still worth getting in 2017. Long story short, no. It almost has none of the features of the fourth generation Apple TV and even lacks some of the wanted features of the 2011 third generation model. But that doesn't mean it's not worth keeping if you already have one. This device was released in September of 2010 and had a very unique usage for anyone part of the Apple ecosystem. It had features such as being able to stream content directly to your TV from your computer, iPad, or iPhone, and was also a great media hub for your iTunes library and is still today. The device itself is incredibly small, but can be placed almost anywhere due to its tiny form factor. On the back you have your power input, HDMI, optical audio, an Ethernet port that goes up to 100 megabits per second, a single micro USB port for servicing or jailbreaking, and the device is equipped with 802.11n wireless networking to handle all your wireless needs. The included remote was a simple slate-like controller that was easy enough to use, but also easy enough to lose since it could fall into almost any crack of a sofa. Even though this device does have an HDMI output, it can only output 720p. And at the time of release, this was adequate for how well streaming worked back then, and due to the bandwidth that most streaming internet services had. For those not sure about the visual quality of 720p, this is considered high definition, and the step above that was considered 1080p, which is full high definition. These were the two resolutions found on most TVs during 2010 and after. It wasn't until 2014 that 4K TVs were starting to find its way into homes, but at such a high cost. Just within the last year have the prices dropped drastically and have become much more affordable. Moving on to what you can actually use this old Apple TV for, it still holds up well with allowing access to your iTunes purchases for the movies, to your wide variety of shows, and of course the large collection of music if you don't ever plan on, using streaming services such as Apple Music or even Spotify. As far as streaming goes, this outdated piece of hardware can still use services such as Netflix, Hulu, as well as many other streaming services just fine. Sadly, there is no native YouTube app since the most recent software update for this model no longer supports it. But you are still able to stream YouTube to your TV, but I'll get around to that a little later. One of the features that tends to get overlooked is the use of home sharing of your collection of media from a dedicated in-home server. This is useful for those that don't have the most reliable internet and just want to have uninterrupted playback while still maintaining full quality. As mentioned earlier, there is no native YouTube app, but with the help of Apple's use of AirPlay, you can stream your YouTube content from any of your Apple computers or iOS devices. Now, I know most people would say, but you can already do that with a $30 Chromecast or your Xbox or PlayStation. They wouldn't be wrong, but those are just a bit limited in use. With the Apple TV, you can use AirPlay to also stream other media from different web media players, essentially making it much more versatile and giving you the flexibility to stream most video content due to the fact that HTML5 is being the new standard over Adobe Flash. As a small bonus, you can even display and screen share what's on your Mac or iOS device wirelessly, leaving out that cable clutter and making it much simpler, and avoiding the need to huddle around your phone or computer if you wanted to share something. This last feature, although not the biggest selling point since you can use your Mac or iOS device to stream directly to your TV, is the remote app. I stated before that you can sometimes lose the tiny included remote, so for those not wanting to use it at all, or just happen to lose it, you can have the option to control your Apple TV with your iOS device. It's a nice tool to have since you can just type directly from the app instead of fumbling around with the arrow keys trying to type out, a few words. So for what it's worth and how much it cost back in 2010, this device still has many useful features that you couldn't find back then and can't even find in a lot of current devices now. Now, I'm not telling anyone to go out and try to find a used second-gen Apple TV, but for those who still have one, you can still do a lot with it and make the most of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.